G'day viewers, I'm in the mood to offer some more advice. Now, my recent videos about internet dating tips proved popular and were deemed wise and insightful, and that's amusing to me. If the world is so screwed up that advice from me can seem valuable, well, you're all in desperate trouble. So I'm here to help you out of your trouble. Now this advice is just going to be general relationship advice. A few tips I've picked up in my long and varied career on the love front. First, a couple of tips for the fellas. One of the most important rules you can ever learn about relationships is it actually probably is all your fault. Just get used to it. Jokes aside, seriously, guys, behaviour that men do to each other that men don't even notice can often be just incredibly abrasive and horrendous. So, you might think I'm joking, but honestly, if there's a problem, there's a pretty good chance it's your fault. Important rule number 2 for men. It is almost impossible in a relationship to over-communicate. Throughout history, more disasters have happened in relationships because the bloke involved just assumed the woman knew what was going on. Hey, it seems sensible to you, but it often isn't. So, when you're thinking something, make sure the other person knows about it. Which segues nicely into the number 1 rule I wish more women would learn. Namely, just because a man internalizes emotions doesn't mean he has no emotions. Look, for a start, men just seem to have a tendency to internalize rather than express emotion, but society generally does not reward men who are overly emotional. Men do not gain a whole lot for expressing their emotions openly. So don't be unreasonable in your expectations. Just because a bloke's not overly expressive doesn't mean he actually doesn't have feelings. Rule number 2 for women. And now I think about it, I should have made this rule number 1. I reckon this is the single most important thing women need to wrap their head around. Decide what sort of man you want and go for that sort. Don't go for someone who's not like that. For the love of baby Jeebus, don't go for a man who's not what you want and then try to change him. That's sick, wrong, and downright evil. Oh look, and here's a couple rules on what not to say. For women, on the rare occasion when a man actually works out that something's wrong, you're upset about something, and he says, hey, what's the matter? Don't say nothing. That is bullshit. If you happen to luck into someone who can actually work out that you're upset about something, tell them. Or at least tell them that you are upset. Don't do this bullshit, nothing. Because that's going to go wrong for one of 2 reasons. Either the bloke just believes you and goes, oh, fine, nothing's wrong, and then you're going to rip on him for that later, or the guy knows you're just being all moody and angsty, and he's going, yeah, you know what, fine, screw it, you don't want to let me in, don't expect me to care when you're ready. So, as an alternative, if you're too pissed off to actually talk to the bloke, maybe say something, just like, I'm just really upset at the moment, I don't want to talk about it now, or I'm too upset to talk about this now. But don't refute the fact that you're upset, because you know what? Even with us notoriously thick men, it's usually blindingly obvious when we're neck deep in shit, okay? One thing men should never say to women, no matter what, do not say, when's the baby due? Okay? No matter how sure you are that woman is pregnant, that you are taking one step over a very high cliff with nasty, sharp, jagged rocks at the bottom. That way lies pain and death. Because no matter how sure you are, there is going to be a case when you're wrong. She'll be just this big bulge out there and you go, hey, when's the baby due? Pacow! That is totally unsafe for men. Never say it. Okay, I just want to round this off with a couple of true stories, things I've actually experienced. One of the things I said when I was talking about internet dating is don't be a jerk. Don't go like, hey baby, how big are your boobs? Will you do it with me? Some blokes thought I was just overstating that. No, seriously, just make a tiny effort on that front. It can really work in your favour. A few years ago, back when MSN used to have decent chat rooms, I was in an MSN chat room, and I'd been frequenting this chat room for quite a while. And MSN had little icons next to your name, male or female icon. And I had a male icon next to my name. But because I hadn't been hitting on the women, a huge number of the women actually didn't know I was male, because they had never experienced a male in the chat room not instantly trying to hit onto them. So when the word got around that I was actually male, I got very popular very quickly. So it's worth the effort, fellas. Don't be an asshole. Another true story on the topic of what not to say. An ex, a very ex girlfriend of mine, said to me once, we were having dinner out somewhere, I ordered a particular thing off the menu, and she turned and said, "You don't eat that." What? What the fuck do you mean I don't eat that? I know what I fucking eat, okay? What she meant was, she was surprised and she didn't know I ate that. But she didn't say it. She said, "You don't like that." I know what I fucking like, okay? If someone surprises you like that, say, "Oh, that was a surprise, I didn't know you liked that." Or maybe sometimes you even need to say, "Do you know what's in that?" I had to save a friend once at a French restaurant who was ordering steak tartare. He goes, "Oh, I like steak, I'll try steak French time." Dude, you know that's raw mince, right? To which, of course, he thought I was bullshitting. So, wait. Steak tartare, that's raw mince, right? You go, "Oh, yes, oh." So, you can help someone out if you think they don't know what they're ordering, but don't tell someone what they're doing is wrong according to the person's own taste. I mean, unless you're going out with someone who's got an acquired brain injury, that sort of stuff's just not on.